What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we're gonna go over the top 5 worst things that have ever happened to Spider-Man. Before we get on the video, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get straight on the video with number 5. Doc Ock stole his body. After all, what else can you expect from a mad scientist? The Mad Doctor hatched a very elaborate plan to take over his nemesis's body after he discovered that he was slowly dying and didn't have much time left. Interestingly enough though, his crazy plan actually worked and he took over Peter's body. As you can imagine, the supervillain did some pretty awful things during the 1 year he was in control of the body, such as killing people in cold blood, while the real Spider-Man had to watch from the back of his mind with no control over the situation. At first glance, it seems like he's in such a horrible situation, but at least Spidey got some cool perks out of the whole ordeal. This includes the fact that Ock had some pretty productive moments during his time spent in the superhero's body, such as starting a highly profitable tech company, as well as earning a higher degree for the young man. I guess once Peter finally got back into his body, he was in a much better place. Number 4. Gwen Stacy's death. Occurring in the obviously fitting comic book issue, The Night Gwen Stacy Died, this tragedy took a significant and clear impact on the web-slinging hero. This came to pass when during a fight with the Green Goblin, Gwen Stacy was thrown off of a bridge where Peter Parker did his very best to save her, catching her with the web at the very last second. Unfortunately, she was already dead from either whiplash or other injuries. To this day, the panel of Spider-Man holding his dead lover in his arms is one of the most iconic moments in comic book history. Of course, many fans also saw this scene acted out in the live-action film The Amazing Spider-Man. Peter even continued to beat himself up over Gwen Stacy's death for quite some time, as he blamed himself for it despite the direct cause being unknown. Number 3. Spider-Man was buried alive. Spider-Man has encountered Kraven the Hunter on multiple occasions, and it seems like for the most part our hero always wins. But this one time, Kraven is victorious and in a pretty torturous way. The villain is able to tranquilize our web-slinger, thus immobilizing him. Afterwards, Spidey is buried alive in a grave and Kraven assumes the identity of the hero. What is even weirder is the fact that the villain even went through all the trouble making an engraved headstone, which was a strange move because after all, who wouldn't have noticed one saying, "Here lies Spider-Man"? Anyways, the wall crawler is actually alive the entire time and digs himself from beneath the ground in a couple of weeks. During this time, Kraven pretends to be Spider-Man but instead completely brutalizes criminals. Eventually, the antagonist in this story kills himself and our hero manages to escape and reclaim the role that he is so well known for. Number 2. Mary Jane died from radioactive sperm. Obviously, Peter Parker has had some pretty terrible luck when it comes to protecting those he loves. The reason why this makes a list is because of the unusual and downright bizarre method the writers used to explain Mary Jane's death that almost makes the whole situation seem even more tragic. We learn about Mary Jane's death in the Reign comics, which takes place 30 years into the future. In this time, Peter remembers back to the time of her death, remarking that its cause was actually cancer that she developed through frequent exposure to Spidey's semen. This was definitely strange for fans to hear, that the death of such a major character came in the form of something so weird. But we can only imagine how much this hurt our main protagonist, who had to live through it. It's rather tragic that the way that Peter Parker killed the one he was closest with by being, well, a little too close with her. Perhaps the saddest thing of all is that he missed her final moments of life to tend to a gunfight that he heard outside. And number 1. Uncle Ben's death. The one thing that remains constant in the many retellings of the Spider-Man origin story is the death of Uncle Ben. Peter Parker saw his uncle as a father, best friend, and a mentor. So when readers saw his life being taken away from him, they shared Parker's emotions. The immense pain, anger, and sorrow that pumped through Peter was indescribable, especially since the thug that killed him was the one that Peter let go. What was debatably worse was that because of Uncle Ben's death, his famous and memorable quote, "With great power comes great responsibility," was solidified into Peter's mind forever. Although it may seem like genuine and wholehearted advice from the surface, at the same time it is a curse. It seems like if there is anything good going on in Peter's life, or anything that begins to make him happy, the responsibility of being Spider-Man takes over, thus making it impossible for Peter to be truly self-content. Fans may argue that Uncle Ben's death was a good and pivotal point to make Spider-Man who he is today, but at the same time, people wonder, if he didn't die, would Peter Parker be happier? And that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. We hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Valenplana, and I'll see you all later.